Well, hello there, Star Child. Welcome back to Unicorns Aquatics. I am your host, Uni, your guide through the lives of my animals. And today I have that part 2 I was hinting at in yesterday's video. The Vector 5-stage filter setup and product review. You will also get to meet 3 out of my 4 cats. As you can see, Figaro is staring very intently at me right now. They always love it when I'm on the floor. Oh, the big stretch. Hello. Hello. And then here we have Nox. This is my princess. She is the finicky one. And she is the reason why when I'm done, this box will have to be thrown away. Because she will try to eat it and the tape attached to it. Aren't cats fun? And then right here, you can see the youngest. The baby, the one that can do no wrong. Hello, Gigi. They go in age from Gigi, Figaro, Nox, Mimsy, which I have not posted Mimsy to YouTube yet, but there is a TikTok of her, so I will probably cross-post that soon. Woo! Watch Uni struggle with boxes and other such items. In that half open doorway that you can see in the back frame, that's the bun room. I converted a whole closet to being a bun room, so they each have their own cage and their own free roam space. Ugh. This thing's big. Way bigger than my other one, and I knew it was gonna be bigger, I just didn't expect this. When this is full of water, it's quite hefty and hard to lift. Here, for size comparison, let's put them side by side. This is the old filter. You can see it's well used and well worn. This is a 3-stage filter, which basically just means it has 3 layers of filtration medium. And then this one's a 5-stage. So nice and pretty and new. So, yeah. That is one thing I will say about this is I did not have to use that pump. Hardly any. And I'm so grateful to this thing. And while I am able to supervise, the kitties can play with this box. Come on, Figgy. I probably ought to move it. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Oh. Here, oh. There we go. Now y'all can see them enter and exit the box throughout this whole video. At least the parts that the box will be visible for. Its latches secured really well. I did have some issues with the latches securing on the first pump. They secured just fine. They just kind of poked out, like it wasn't fastened as tightly as it could be. This is a different filtration medium too. They're like some plastic medium balls. Then I think these are like a bone to provide calcium. Alright, off to go rinse it off and prime it. And now I am reorganizing the tank so that I can give Dobby a little bit more swimming room, give the fishies a safe space to hide, as well as some space for some plant life. That is the purpose of the milk crate. If I put plant life in here, he tries to eat it. Snapping turtles are ambush predators, so that means they will eat anything that crosses their path. Thankfully, their eyesight is not that good. That is the reason why the fish in his tank are still alive. Isn't knowledge fun? This thing filled up with water, primed and ready, was a bit heavier than I expected. I guess I need to work out a little more. That way I'm not killing myself to lift it. Oh, I just found some plant material that fell in the water from when I was rearranging the tank in preparation for this. This is not the final look of the tank either. This species of lichen was growing on the rocks and logs right by the water's edge, and I figured it would be a species he wouldn't really try to eat because of its location. I just wedged it up underneath his basking rock. Which he doesn't really like to bask on the rock. If he basks at all, it's on the log. And I would catch a video of him doing it, but I have to sneak up on his tank, because the second he knows I'm watching, he's dipping into that water. Right, got the water dechlorinator in there, and I'm just taking a minute to move the filters around to mix that in. And we're good. On to the next part. Now y'all get to see me struggle with this. The hoses and the attachments for the filter require a really snug fit, and that means it's really hard to clip everything together. Right. And here I'm laying out all the attachments I will be using. I'm just going for a basic setup because that's really all I need. I don't need any of these fancy attachments. I've tried clipping them all together when I got a vector canister pump the first go around. The little stage one had all of these same attachments, and I couldn't get any of them to attach properly. I was getting leaking issues. I'm pretty sure with like some silicone or something they would stay together, but then they wouldn't be able to detach for cleanings. So that's why I just go with this simple setup of just some filter caps on the ends of the outtake and intake hoses. And even that was a bit much. I white knuckled this for like a solid 8-10 minutes. And I know this isn't the best camera angle, but bear with me. I swap it up here very soon. Once I get to the piece that gave me the most issue, I'll change the camera angle. Right now, these ones don't really give me much issue. The only time I've ever had one of them give me issue was my own fault because I tightened the cap on it too tight and could not get it off. I just had to cut it and get a replacement part. Because when I first bought the 3-stage canister filter, oh, this is where you get to see me struggle. But when I first bought the 3-stage can filter, I guess through a shipping error, it came to me with a damaged motor. And I was in talks with Vector customer support. After proving to them that this was no fault of me, they sent me a brand new one and let me keep the old one for spare parts. And that served me well. Okay, let me explain. I'm sure you get the idea, but I'm using the lighter to soften the rubber so that it's a bit more malleable. You gotta be very careful with that because rubber is very burnable. You just want to take light little, see how I'm doing it? I'm just lightly working it, little bit by little bit. It's like when you gauge out your ears. You don't want to go too fast. Oh, you can see I'm white knuckling it there. Yeah, I kept the box. I just tuck it away in a closet when I'm not around to supervise. So while I'm in the kitchen recording the voiceover, I have the box out. Gigi in a box. I originally thought about getting a zip tie to secure that, but I thought with all the force it took just to get it on there, it's not going anywhere. And once it gets dipped into the cold water, it'll shrink and form fit around. Getting it off to clean the hose is going to be another thing. We'll see how that goes. Compared to the first one, this one didn't give me near as much trouble. I've used this exact attachment on the previous filter and it worked great. Sweetest babies in the world, floofy hellions, ding ding. Thank you for listening to the ravings of a mad woman. Still not the best camera angle, but it works. You know what's going down. You get to see the process. I'm here to explain everything. You're a loyal vessel of knowledge. Oh. And we're in. Such a dweeb. I still end up pulling it off and working it on a little bit more because it's barely in there. And then once this is on, I just gotta clip it onto this and we're good. It's just clipping everything into place and plugging it in. I did this one hose at a time, so I still gotta clip the orange and gray nozzle that hooks the hose up to the filter. I've been watching the fish tank throughout this whole voiceover, and it's been the best serotonin boost. I've been watching the fish tank throughout this whole voiceover, and it's been the best serotonin boost. They're so peaceful. That's one of the reasons I wanted to start posting the fish. I can just sit here for hours at a time watching them gracefully swim and float around. Oh, and we're all done. And clipping the final things onto the motor, and then it's clipping the motor onto the basin. Now we just up the daisy. And there we are. We're gonna clip the airlocks nice and snug. These clipped on a whole lot smoother than the smaller one. I was always worried of them popping off on the 3-stage filter, but I don't really have that worry with this one because they connect so nicely. Yeah, you can see I'm struggling to try and move it so the cord has a better angle to reach the wall. And that's why there's a hole in the milk crate, so I can slide that in, and the weight of everything kind of helps hold it in place where I want it. Which, speaking of, these are going to be essential in getting this clipped how I want it. These suction cups are really strong. This one that I'm clipping on right now gave me a little trouble when trying to take it off to readjust. And this one I'm clipping like this because Dobby likes waterfalls. I guess it feels like a massage, and it helps clean off the gunk on his shell and in between his skin and such. I found this out one day while doing a water change. Yeah, and I'm testing the flow for the intake. I'm making sure there's no bubbles getting sucked up, and I have to readjust. But yeah, I was doing a water change on Dobby's tank, and he was just following the hose as I was filling it up. And I got to moving the water around and scratching his shell, and it was just adorable. He completely relaxed his back feet while trying to claw closer to the flow of water with his front feet. So ever since then, I have a waterfall coming out of his filter. It also promotes some oxygenation of the water for the fishies. So dual purpose. Yeah, see what I mean? It gives me some issues. I think I'm about to plug it up, and you'll just see the immediate like the power that this thing has is incredible. I didn't even have to pump out the excess air through the tubes like I had to with the old one. So, see, I started to try and pump, and it didn't even need it. It did it all on its own. I was amazed by the power that this filter has. I think this one is designed for a 250 gallon tank, which the stock tub's only 150. But I figured because of the positioning I have the filter at, I could use the extra power anyway. And it's not like it's overworking itself. It's still got a constant flow of water and it's still doing its job. So yeah, final review. I would give this a 4.2 out of 5 stars. It works really well. I had a few issues with it just because of my own, I don't want to say incompetence, but I did have some trouble with lifting it. But overall, it's a great product. I would love to hear reviews of some other canister filters to take notes. I know Aqueon's one of the top of the lines. And right here I'm coaxing him into this corner so I can see how much space I need to make when I do final tank adjustments. You can immediately see it's not gonna work. I actually had to pick him up and move him out of that corner because he was so dead set on trying to crawl into that space. Yeah, see, he's just trying to like, no mama, don't pull me out, don't pull me out. I'm gonna go back in. Watch, I'm gonna go back in. Well, I have to wrangle a turtle out of a crevice. So, thank y'all so much for joining me here and watching this video. Until the next one, peace.